Hello everyone and welcome back to Blockbuster Reviews. Today we're going to be looking at this groundbreaking international bestseller written by author Susan Cain called Quiet: The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking. This book is about people who are shy and introverted. The book was written after 7 years of research in 2013, and the question the book addresses is, can people who are introverted be successful in life? Or, in other words, do they have a place in this loud world where people are rewarded for being social and outgoing? First, a little about the author. This book is obviously written by an introvert herself. Susan Cain has been to Harvard Law School and Princeton University, but her shy nature made her very uncomfortable in the Wall Street scene, where marketing and selling is everything because these places were built around extroverts. And thus she wrote this book to answer the question we just asked: can introverts succeed in a world that favors extroverts? We've divided the book into 6 short lessons. We'll look at each lesson and give it points out of 10. Lesson number 1: the difference between introverts and extroverts. Introverts are deep thinkers and like long and deep conversations, whereas extroverts are loud and like small talk. This is the basic definition given by the author. Points given to this lesson: 6 out of 10. Why 6? Because it is incomplete. A better way to look at it is this: the difference between introverts and extroverts is that introverts recharge their batteries when they're alone and discharge them when they're with people, whereas extroverts recharge their batteries when they're with people and discharge them when they're alone. Lesson number 2: the world was never always extroverted. In the early 1900s, the American culture valued serious, honorable, and disciplined character. In short, this era was known as the era of culture of character. But in the 20th century, around the 1920s, with the rise of commercialism, marketing, and self help books, this culture shifted to that of personality. So the American society went from the culture of character to the culture of personality. And suddenly, discipline and character were not as important as charisma and magnetism. In other words, the world shifted from introversion to extroversion. Points given to this lesson: 9 out of 10. Why 9? Because while true, there are a lot of factors involved in why something happens. Lesson number 3: the world has been changed by introverts. Contrary to what we're taught about the power of extroversion, history is full of examples of introverts who changed the world. For example, Einstein, who came up with the theory of relativity; Rosa Parks, whose refusal to leave her seat in a public bus for a white person ignited the entire civil rights movement in America; Dale Carnegie, whose self help books have encouraged and enabled millions of people across the globe to be the best versions of themselves, including Warren Buffett, who said the best investment in his life was a Dale Carnegie seminar he attended. The operating system Linux, Apple, and J.K. Rowling, whose Harry Potter series changed the world of entertainment, used to write her books in complete isolation. Even Wikipedia is what it is because introverts sitting alone on their computers all across the globe contribute to updating it for the betterment of humanity. In short, introverts and their achievements are underestimated. Alone time is when you do your best work. Points given to this lesson: 8 out of 10. Why 8? Because as we'll see, there's something better than being an introvert. And also because the argument tips too much in favor of introverts. Plenty of extroverts have done fantastic things and have excellent accomplishments in the world. So, such as taking an idea from an introvert to present it to the world in a way that the world would accept it, for example. Lesson number 4: leadership and companies need to make place for introverts. Brainstorming, groupthink, group discussions, group projects, everything in companies these days seem to be about extroversion, about doing things together. But introverts are not comfortable in these kinds of interactions. The author argues that brainstorming, for example, simply results in the discussion involving in favor of those who speak most frequently and are the loudest. Companies need to structure the work environment so that introverts are as comfortable as extroverts are. Points given to this lesson: 8 out of 10. Why 8? Because it's easier said than done. But having everyone on the board is the right way to go. The best of ideas can come from the quietest of persons. Enabling them to come forth is the name of the game. Lesson number 5, ambiverts and people who cross over from introversion to extroversion. There are few truly pure introverts and extroverts in the world. Most people lie somewhere on the spectrum. For example, Bill Gates is an introvert, but unlike pure introverts, he doesn't think much of what people think of him or his ideas. Similarly, the singer Barbara Streisand is an extrovert, but she still feels shy when she gets onto the stage. People in the middle of the spectrum are called ambiverts. They're equally comfortable being alone as they are being with people. The author says this is the best place for a person to be. There are very few ambiverts. Would you like for me to point out one to you? This guy right here. Interestingly, the author points out that introverts can act as extroverts and do very well, in fact. She tells the story of a professor who was very boisterous and energetic delivering a lecture to the point that no one could tell that he was an introvert. But after the classes, he would re energize himself with a good book alone. Points given to this lesson 7 out of 10. Why 7? Because it's true about the spectrum, but crossing over is not easy nor natural. It has to be consciously learned. Lesson number 6, partnerships and marriages between introverts and extroverts. Can introverts and extroverts coexist peacefully and even thrive together? The author seems to think so. She gives the example of the former President of the United States of America, Franklin D. Roosevelt. According to Susan Cain, President Roosevelt was a quintessential extrovert, loving parties and dinners and people, whereas his wife was introverted, taking to deep conversations and thinking. She couldn't wait to get out of those parties. But she was a great influence on her husband. She directed his energies to think deeply about some troubling issues like children affected by racism and hunger. And with her influence, she had the president resolve the issue of a black singer, Marianne Anderson, who was denied to sing in the Constitutional Hall simply because she was black. Points given to this lesson 5 out of 10. Why 5? Because research has shown that partnerships and understanding thrive based on the values of two people, not their personalities. That's only a minor aspect. Now let's take a look at the book in numbers. The number of pages in this book are 368. The price of the book is $13 on Amazon. IQ needed to read the book is 105 to 110, so a little above average. Time needed to read is about 4 days. You read 3 hours per day, or a week if you're busy. Practicality of the book is 7 out of 10, mostly if you're an introvert. Level of knowledge required for the book is 3.5 out of 10, so that's a basic understanding of the human psyche. The book is rated to be 7.5 out of 10 overall. So the question is, do I recommend this book to you guys? I will definitely say yes to that. It's a good book to read, and there's a reason why it's an international bestseller. So that's it for today's review. Until we come back with another review, goodbye, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great day.